Alright, so in this video I want to go over my levels regarding this range that we're in. We are still trading inside of this range, and we have recently got another rotation down to the low end of the range. So I want to go over the trades that I've taken and the trades that I'm looking for next. So I took yesterday off because, number one, it was a holiday. I was doing stuff, I had plans, but I did do a little bit of trading in the beginning of the day, and it did not go so well. I took two losses trying to long this area of support in here, the retest of the value area high, and then next the point of control. Ended up taking two losses, and after that, I was busy. I just figured I'd walk away from the charts and come back today. But that was made better by the fact that I did enter this short up here that I talked about in my last video. So if I turn on that folder, this up here was a 15-minute order block. It's the level I talked about in my last video. We also had the point of control of this local downtrend, as well as the 786, I think, lined up in there when we finally started getting this retracement. So I ended up shorting this area after we wicked the order block, and let me go to a low time frame. So there weren't too many confirmations for this trade. There were some low time frame divergences on the 1 minute, I believe, some slight money flow divs on this 2 minute, but there wasn't too much in terms of confirmations. It wasn't a very clear trade to take. I mostly took it off of the reaction from this level that I was watching. So once we wicked this order block and started getting a move back to the downside, I was looking at order flow as well as market cipher DBSI. Basically, once I saw some bearish strength building up on DBSI, I decided to enter this trade, with the invalidation being a little bit above that wick. I figured we already grabbed all the liquidity from the people that shorted this order block as soon as we got into it. A lot of people just put their stop losses above the order block. We wicked out a lot of those guys and then got a nice reaction back down into the order block. So I entered like right here, and I'm not gonna lie, I was stressing a little bit when price started coming back up towards my stop loss. This, in my opinion, was a high probability trade idea since we had switched market structure. Now we had come up to potentially put in a lower high. We were seeing some bearish signs, and since I was practicing good risk management, I was comfortable with this risk that I was taking. So if I got stopped out, whatever, we'll move on to the next trade idea. So I was stressing a little bit when we started getting that move back to the upside, but not too much. And we never ended up stopping out my trade. We actually never took out that original wick. So all the people that traded the idea like I did, even if you put your invalidation right above that wick, you would have been okay, or at least on Binance. So this was, the only short that I took up around the highs of this range, and it ended up running a little bit. I took out a decent amount of profits down around this value area high, and I took out a little bit more down by this point of control just in case we ended up bouncing from here. But I did want to leave some of this short open in case we did see a rotation down to the low end of this range, which we have gotten now. So I'm still in that short. I just took out a good amount of profits down here, still holding a little bit of it, but overall my main target for this trade has been hit. We got to move down around the lows of the range. We didn't exactly hit the value area low, and there is still reason to come lower, I believe, so we may end up getting a move down lower. But yeah, so far it has ended up being a very good short. So right now, my main trading ideas are basically revolving around this range. And since we are around the lows of the range, this is the area where I would start to become interested in longs. So I will start off with my long ideas. I did enter a small scalp long right down here, which right now we are still putting in higher highs. I already locked this one in. It was a really quick scalp that I took. Basically off of this retest, we had switched market structure here, got a significant move to the upside, and then retested the 382. We also retested this support resistance level, and when we got that retest, we saw some people opening up long positions. So this was the retest, and right here we did see a little increase of open interest with the CVD increasing. It doesn't look like a whole lot of longs, but it was significant enough for me to want to take a scalp there, and so far it has worked out. And I did take profits up around these highs already, and now I have my stop loss a little bit below my entry. So pretty much it's a risk-free trade at this point. If it ends up running, then cool, I'm in a little long now, but my main long ideas are still below us. I think there's better longs to be had lower. And so my main long ideas revolve around this value area low and this wick that we got right here. We could stop out the liquidity that is below that wick, maybe get a bounce off of the value area low, or maybe come down below the value area low into this 15-minute order block. I think either of those would be solid ideas if we see the confirmations for them. And so right now, I think this general area is my main long area, my main area of interest for longs. And I do still think we can get a move down to here. We kind of front ran this level a little bit. We broke low time frame market structure bullish. So maybe that results in a little move to the upside, maybe up to VWAP, which is coming in right around 30,500. So like right about here, or up to the point of control, and maybe it just ends up being a higher time frame, lower high, because we are in a higher time frame downtrend, it seems, but I can't really see a transition, but there it is. We got a 1 hour transition here, then lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, boom, boom. So maybe we come up for another lower high and a lower low into this area. Still think that's a possibility. And that is pretty much my main ideas for longs at the moment. I don't really have many other confluences down there. I mean, we can pull a fib and see where the 786 is, and that's coming in right around that 15-minute order block. But yeah, there's not too much more confluence down below here. I'm mainly, focusing on the range levels. So I think the value area low is the most important level to the downside, and anything else is just adding confluence to it. So even if we come down below this value area low and bounce off this 15-minute order block, I would like to see us reclaim the value area low for some kind of sign of strength. And to the upside, I am not interested in any shorts really until we get up towards the value area high. That's usually how I like to trade ranges. I do not, for the most part, like taking trades inside this middle part of the range unless I see something on a low time frame that gives me an entry, such as a low time frame market structure shift, and in that case I would just treat it as a scalp. But in terms of higher time frame ideas, I'm not interested in anything until we get up to this value area high. And there is some confluence lining up with here. We have a 6 hour order block, which I can show you that if we go to the 6 hour. It is that blue candle right there. That's in between two purples. The purple to the right got an aggressive move to the downside. It has been untapped since that next candle printed. So this is an interesting area. The PD value area low is also right around there. But something to keep in mind is that there is a strong possibility that we just run through this level because of all of this liquidity that we have to the upside. Pretty much we have a bunch of lower highs here. Not a lot of runs on liquidity. I mean, this wick did stop out some liquidity from right here, but overall there's still stop losses, I would assume, above this high, maybe above this high, now above this wick, and above these highs, maybe staggered. All of this area has probably got a lot of liquidity in it, and so I would really want to see something that gives me confidence in that 6 hour order block. And if I'm going to be taking a trade from here, I want to keep in mind that there is still liquidity above us, so there is still reason to come higher. So I would want to see some strong confirmations in here if I'm going to consider that area. And yeah, again, being cautious because of the liquidity above. And above that, we do have this interesting area. We have an NDPOC, which I kind of like a little bit better than this 6 hour order block, because at least if we come up to here, we would be stopping out some liquidity. There's probably liquidity here and maybe even here. So we would be getting some of that liquidity by coming up to that NDPOC, rather than just, coming up to the 6-hour order block and not hitting any of this liquidity. I think the NDPOC might actually be a better level because we would get some liquidity out of the way, and there is some confluence around that. If you pull a fib, the golden pocket is lining up right around that NDPOC, a little bit below it, but overall the area of interest is usually between the golden pocket and the 786. So I think this is pretty decent confluence. And there is also a 30-minute order block up around the PD value area high. So I don't know how I feel about this level just because it's so close to the highs. If we're going to come up to here, there's a good chance price will just want to come and take out the high. I mean, that's kind of what it's been doing. We've just been taking out these highs in this local range. So, I would want to see some strong confirmations in this area as well if I were to consider it. But, I have it marked out just because it doesn't hurt. And with this guy, we would be running a lot of liquidity as well. We could hit the liquidity from this wick. So, maybe you can treat it as an SFP. If we take out this wick, but do not close above it, if we just get a quick wick above that level into that 30-minute order block and then see a quick reaction, that could be a possible idea. But also, just because, the highs are right here, I could see a scenario where we do wick this, we do kind of SFP it, get a lot of people to short right here, get their stop losses maybe up above the order block, and then just kind of send price up a little bit later to grab that liquidity. I've seen that kind of thing happen a lot with levels right around a significant high. So honestly, I think my favorite level that I'm seeing right now would be this NDPOC, or this level up here. If we see strong confirmations there, then I also really like that level because we can grab liquidity. I, again, don't know how I feel about this 6-hour order block. I would have to see, probably at least a low time frame market structure shift inside of here, like, get some market structure and then break the last high or low. Something to give me confidence that this is going to be a top because, I think that there's a chance that even if we reject from this level, maybe get a little rejection, that we could just, come up, slice through all of this liquidity. So yeah, those are pretty much my ideas at this point. We are still trading inside of this range, so I'm just going to continue trading it as a range, looking for longs from the lows and shorts from the highs, and practicing good risk management and looking for confirmations for your trades. Just some important things to keep in mind. But thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Really appreciate the support, and I'll see you all in the next video.